All right, my name is Paul. Thank you for joining. Yeah, so good evening and welcome everyone. I'm thrilled to have you join me today for tonight's webinar. Um, this is night number two for I think it's a 28 session series, a whole lot of them. Tonight we're going to be exploring from the Burlington Bristol Bridge down to I think it's the Betsy Ross Bridge. Okay, this is in partnership with a bunch of people. We got Happy Captain boating instruction that's going to be covering back behind LBI. We have another guy going to be covering back behind Brigantine. They haven't sent me their logos yet. And Sea Scout Ship 117 is actually going to be helping up in the Little Egg Harbor area as well. A couple quick housekeeping things. Please, again, no profanity. Please treat everybody with respect and let's try to keep the politics to a zero. Try to keep your camera off unless you want to talk to us or you want us to see your laundry drying behind you. That's quite all right. I'd rather not see it, but if you want to show it to us, feel free. Um, Also, please mute your mic unless you are talking. If you want to raise your hand, we are using Zoom tonight, so you would have to press that three little buttons where it says more, and then it says there's another button that says raise hand. Feel free to push that if you have any questions. So, who am I?
Okay.
I am Paul. Mark, if you can try to mute your phone over there, or I
I'm
can mute it.
I'm
All right, I got you. Okay. I currently hold a near coastal 100-ton captain's license. I own and operate Whitman Marine Training. I volunteer with the Coast Guard Auxiliary. Been running on the Delaware for quite some time. Been doing tours up and down there. This is kind of the backyard waters, if you will. Um, the area of water we're covering today is Betsy Ross Bridge to Burlington Island, and we're going to be using the ARGO app tonight. So I always send out that questionnaire kind of ahead of time, asking where people are voting from, where people are. It's really kind of great to see kind of average who is attending, and what kind of boats they're operating. That just kind of gives you an idea and us an idea of, hey, average people are operating between 20-foot boats, and a majority of people are operating center consoles. There's a couple of people out there running pontoons, bow riders, a jet ski between 16 and 20. All right, I want to highlight the range lights. On the right here, we have a set of two light bulbs, two white lights. We can see here if we line these lights up dead on with another, one on top of the other, that indicates that you're in the dead center of a channel. Okay, on the left here, you can see an image going down. This, in theory, would be right above Burlington Island. I have circled here in white those two lights that you're seeing in the image on the right. If you line those two up dead center, you would be perfectly safe in the channel and you wouldn't have to be worried about running over any sandbars. So if you're operating in a new area that you never had before, specifically on the Delaware River, if you put those two lights dead center lined up against each other, you'll be perfectly safe. They tend to moderate or change in colors as you go down or up the river. Sometimes it's white on top of white, sometimes it's white on top of green, and sometimes they throw a red in there to mix it up. All right, transitioning to the tablet. This is record.
Is ARGO a free software?
I am using the free portions of the software. The Burlington Bristol Bridge. Okay. Argo has a little bit of a different feel to it than I think than what you would expect to see on a chart or some other charting platforms that you may see on your laptop or on your computer. Just kind of, hey, you got to get used to how it feels because it just looks a little bit different. Okay, so you see these two black dots here, called special purpose beacons. These are these here. They are your range lights going north. Okay. So if you are coming, if you're heading north on the Delaware River towards Burlington City or towards Bristol, you can use these two lights, line them up dead center, and you will be safe going north. Here on the New Jersey side, we have if you're on the Delaware River, it will look like a really large bay. It'll be really welcoming, and it'll try to be convincing you to bring your boat over here. I do not necessarily suggest it because as we zoom in here, you can see that we're only looking at 1 foot, maybe 2 foot, 3 foot, if that, not really deep. So the closer you get to shore here, it's going to get really shallow really quick. You can go in the bay, just not too close to the shore. Try to stay a good 100 yards away from that shore, because if not, you're going to run aground real quick. But if you're looking for wildlife, there is an eagle's nest in the area here in the woods on the Jersey Shore. So don't be surprised or don't be afraid to look up, because you will, or most likely will, see an eagle flying around in this area. All right, we're going to slide south a little bit. The first marina, I guess we're going to come to, is going to be the Red Dragon Canoe Club. You can zoom in on this right here. For all intents and purposes, every yacht club that you come across on the Delaware River that is unprotected from the river or from the shipping lanes is a no-wake zone. Please, please, please treat these with care. Don't take your boat and fly through this area because you could have people getting on and off their boats. They also do instruction for children and young adults, so it'll be really difficult if they're getting on and off the sailboats on the shore or on their dock and they get waked and they get hurt. That is not necessarily a good thing to do. We're going to go directly across the river to the Pennsylvania side. Here we have Neshaminy Marina. Neshaminy is a state-owned and operated marina. We can drop a link in to it. You have to go on there to request a slip. Last time I checked, they had a waiting list, which is a shame. If you go in there, there's some boats that have been in there for a really, really long time. This is one of the nicest ramps on the Pennsylvania side. So there's really two ramps here. There's a ramp, if I can get this annotation thing without messing up the screen again. So we have a ramp here, and you have a ramp here. 1, 2. Ramp number 2 over here is really difficult. I'll even say it's sketchy. It's mostly sand and less concrete than sand. More sand than concrete. I do see a lot of people putting their wave runners in there. I do see them putting some small boats in there, like john boats. I would not go and put a pontoon boat in there. I have seen people do it. I wouldn't do it. I would use the ramp on the inside of the marina to do those larger boats. For one, you have the sand to contend with. Pulling the boat out of that sand is difficult. You could get your trailer stuck. And 2, because you have, stop annotating, because you have all the traffic in the Delaware River, you tend to get a whole lot of wakes getting just thrown into that ramp while you're working it. That makes it just challenging. But on the inside of Neshaminy Marina, there's a pretty large ramp in there that you can get in and out of.
Fuel dock?
Good question. I don't think so. Anybody on the call know if the Neshaminy Marina has a fuel dock? I don't think they do.
Okay, thank you.
No, there's no fuel dock.
Yeah, I don't think so. All right, so if you're going to be using this marina, pay attention here. Look at, you can see the depth contours. It does get really shallow going into the marina. So just you see the angle of the jetty, take that angle of the jetty and just go straight out into the Delaware. Don't cut it too close to the Pennsylvania side. I get this annotation thing here. So when you come out, don't just make a sharp turn and go this way. If you do this sharp turn, you could interfere with people using that other riverside ramp that necessarily isn't necessarily that good. All right. And also, when you come out here, don't cut across this way because you could have boats coming out from the Neshaminy Creek in that direction. All right. We've seen a couple of accidents happen right here because people just aren't paying attention. Even if there isn't an accident, it gets to be a near miss and just ruins people's days. Okay, I'm not covering the Neshaminy Creek today. That'll be Wednesday. All right, we're gonna go south a little bit here. Pay attention to the New Jersey side. Over here on shore during the summer, right around here, they do have some concert series in the summer. I have seen people anchor up and relax and just have a good time. Just make sure that you do not migrate into this area. It does get shallow. You can see the twos, you can see the ones get shallow pretty quickly. Just be mindful of your depth. Rotation off. Yacht Club is here, where all the boats are tied up, anchored, of course. All right, right here we have the Pennsylvania Yacht Club. Again, be mindful of all the anchored boats. They are on moorings. I think before the next webinar on Wednesday, I'm gonna kind of do a how to moor your boat intro. For the most part, all yacht clubs have this T-head dock or dock in the shape of an L up here. They use that dock to get their members from land to the marina to the boat, and then they'll untie their boat from the mooring ball and bring the boat back to the dock to maybe load other guests and whatnot. Some of these yacht clubs do have restaurants or bars associated with them. Some of them are friendly and some of them are not friendly to guests. It's a good idea to get a hold of a member and for the first time visiting some of their bars. If you're looking for something cool directly across the river on the New Jersey side, there is a large structure right here. We can zoom in. This is an old railroad coal chute. Used to bring coal over for the manufacturing facility over here. Manufacturing facility is long gone, but the coal chute is still there. Just be mindful of it when you're zooming around. Don't hit it if you get real close to that river, that Jersey side. Try not to hit it. So we're coming down. If you're staying to the center of the river, you're good. You can see on both sides of the river, though, we do have some sandbars. Just be mindful of these. We do see every now and then we get people getting hung up on these sandbars. Just try to stay off of them if you can. All right, the north on the Pennsylvania side over here. This is the Delaware River Yacht Club. You can zoom in here. There's a lot of sailboats that come in and out of here. There's a great spot. A lot of these are some decent people. Again, a link's going to get dropped if you want to get a hold of them, if you want to join their group or use their marina. If you are using their marina, being mindful of the big giant sandbar directly to the north. All right, so if you're going to be going out, try to not get on that sandbar. There are 2 or 3. The range lights are right here. They are on top of your sandbar. So try not to go through those range lights. Go all the way out to the furthest range light and the green buoy before you go on into the river here. Going north. Going south, there is the Linden Avenue ramp, should be around here somewhere. Here it is. Here's the Linden Avenue ramp. This is a free ramp from Pennsylvania. Okay, if you look on Philly's website, it's also called the Pleasant Hill boat launch, which is really deceiving because everybody just calls it the Linden Avenue boat ramp. There's plenty of parking, ample parking for everybody over here. Really easy to get to. A lot of people use it. It can get clogged up with wave runners though. Just be mindful of that, especially if you're going to go out on a Saturday. Don't be surprised if you pull in and there's 5,000 wave runners. And if you are using a ramp, be mindful of all of the sailboats associated with this yacht club, the Delaware River Yacht Club, okay? Because they're going to be out and about. Doing what sailboats do, right? They just kind of zigzag up here all the way down the river. And a lot of times, wave runners do, they jump out and then you just go zip right up the river. And it kind of causes confusion up there. Just be mindful when you go out of that ramp. All right, directly across the river from the Linden Avenue ramp is the Rancocas Creek. All right, I want you to pay attention to these buoys right here. Pen, pen, pen. These buoys right here. Okay, because the red buoy lines up perfectly with the Rancocas Creek. See if I can draw this correctly. Red buoy lines up perfectly with the Rancocas Creek. All right, if you use that red buoy coming out of the Rancocas Creek, that'll kind of give you an informal range light to find your way out. Same thing if you are trying to find the inlet when you are traveling on the Delaware River. All right, if you're on the Delaware River and you don't necessarily know where the Rancocas Creek is because it just kind of appears, you're kind of traveling around and you go past the Delaware River Yacht Club. All right, I'm getting close. And then, okay, here's my red and green buoys. So then I know when to start making my turn in. Okay, or if I'm going north, I'm passing these yellow markers here, which are actually the end. They mark where the pipe ends from the waste treatment plant. That means I'm getting close. Okay, I found my red buoy, and then I'm going to, as I get close to red buoy, now I'm going to go straight into the Rancocas Creek to find my way up to. Stop annotating. When you go up the Rancocas Creek, this is as far as up the Rancocas Creek we're going tonight. We're going to go up the Rancocas Creek here. Stop annotating. This is going to be Hawk Island Marina here. Great marina. I think they charge about $25 in and out. Lots of parking, ample parking in here for your boats. It can get cramped because of the length of the boat trailers. But cool people, they'll help you out if need be. This whole area here is a no wake zone. All right, so your no wake zone is from here all the way into your bridge. All right. And then after your bridge, you got to go a little bit further, basically bridge to bridge here. That's because of all the boats docked up along in the marina and up behind of all the houses. Again, we don't want to throw any wakes and hurt people on the boats. We don't want to damage boats. We don't want to knock anybody off of the docks. Just kind of good things to do. Okay, check them out. On Wednesday, we're going to be talking more in-depth details about the Rancocas Creek, the Neshaminy Creek, and the Pennsauken Creek. We actually have John Anderson who's going to be leading the charge on the Rancocas Creek. All right, now let's talk about this monster. All right, in here we have Dredge Harbor, we have Riverside, and we have Lippincott Marine. I guess that's in there. And we have G Winter Sailing. Sure where to start first. Let's start with the easiest one first. In the Delaware River, we have, clear this. How do I change the color? I don't like the red. Go with yellow this time. All right, in the Delaware River, we have these yellow channel markers. All right, the yellow channel markers are hazard buoys, and they are literally marking the end of the sewer pipe that dumps the water out of the waste treatment plant over here from
No,
Philadelphia.
it's on the Jersey side.
It's on the Jersey side?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, sure it is. I don't see it,
Well,
but
dark black is, that's a water treatment plant.
okay. Take the word for it. All right, so we're going to use that as our guide. The yellow safety markers, the yellow construction buoys, are going to mark our entrance to Dredge Harbor. We're going to go from there to the next yellow buoy, and then as we go in, there's going to be a few more yellow buoys. There could be a few more buoys, right? There should be a. While editing this video, I realized that in my haste, I switched the buoys in the demonstration. When you're coming from the Delaware River, you're going to have red on your starboard side, your right side, when entering Dredge Harbor and this basin. Green side will be on your port side all the way in to Dredge Harbor, and green will be on your port side, your left side, all the way back to Riverside Marina. My apologies. A red should look something like this. That's what it should look like. Might be another red one, like right here. All right, that's what it should look like. When we're coming in, we want to make sure we stick between the reds and the greens. All right, and don't cut this turn as you're turning to go down into Dredge Harbor down here. All right, make sure that you're not cutting that turn and you're staying in the channel. All right, because on both sides, on this side, you can see all of the sandbar, and there's this gigantic island on in the center over here. All right, you want to just be mindful of everything in there. You don't want to run aground. Don't come in there hot. Don't come in here too hot. As soon as you break between the Delaware River, I'm going to say here, it's time to slow down. It's not an official no wake zone at that point, but I personally would be no wake, only because of all the sandbars and as close and how crazy it can be. Wish those buoys would have stayed there. So we're here. Thicker. How am I doing on time? Oh, okay. Okay, so as you're coming into Dredge Harbor here, all right, you're gonna stick to this line. And it's gonna make you come real close to the marina, real close to the boats. And make sure you do that. Stick right next to the boats before you make this sharp turn, that real sharp 90 degrees to go into their fuel dock. These guys do have fuel, and they do have a pump out. I don't know about food. That's always up in the air. I don't think they've had food there for the past couple of years, but every year they talk about reopening their breakfast restaurant. But every year it turns out that they don't. So it's a flip of a coin. We'll see if they do. They see if they don't. We can drop a link to their website. You can jump on there, see if they have spots for slips or not. All right, if you're leaving this marina, do this nice big and red, real thick. Do not go this way. Don't do that. Okay, just go out and follow. Go back out. Same way you came in, right? Keep it nice and tight and follow that path out. If you want to go to Riverside, there it is. You're going to have channel markers here, here. They put them in themselves, so you kind of have to guess where they are. I'll use brown. All right, on your way in, all right, just kind of stick to the middle. Stick to these buoys like glue as much as you can. Hopefully there's nothing coming out as you're going in, nothing going in as you're going out. Don't veer off that line that's very far, because if you do, you could get stuck real quick. Stick to the line as close as you can. If you're going to Winters, there's going to be a couple more. Again, it's all about sticking to the channel markers. All right, don't go in any of the sandbar areas. Don't go outside of the channel markers in here, because if you do, you're going to get stuck. Keep it nice and tight and close. All right. Zoom up here. Like that. Going up into Riverside, same thing, kind of stick in the middle, take it all the way up basically to the bulkhead and keep it nice and tight and close on your way in. That's the only way to prevent yourself from getting stuck up on those sandbars. You can see the sandbars right here. Okay. All right, good. Cover that. All right, so let's leave this area. Going out, same thing. I think we covered that going out. All right, so out here we're in the Delaware River. Going south, again, you can use all these here are range lights on the exterior. All these black things are range lights, depending upon where you are, where you're going. Two of these are going to line up to do something. All right, so you can see here, these two are going to line up to go this way. Clear. We're making our way south. First marina that we're going to come across here on the Jersey side is, we're calling this Riverton Yacht Club. Riverton Yacht Club is really active with their sailing program. And you really have to pay attention to these guys, especially on the weekend, because they have a really active sailing program, and they do lots of races. They're going to go around here. Stop with the line. All right, and they race around all these things. So you got to be real careful where all these sailboats are going, and it can be tough to get around these things. Just don't crash into any sailboats. Um, every, the boat to your right has the right of way, unless it's a sailboat. Doesn't matter where it's coming from. If the sailboat's coming from your port side, starboard side, in front of you, they have they are the stand on, and you as a powerboat are to give way. The only time a sailboat is supposed to give way for a powerboat is when it's overtaking you. Um, but sometimes in regattas, they just do whatever they want to do. So just kind of be mindful of this. I would almost suggest that when you're coming down the river, going south down the river, I would say stick to the Pennsylvania side. All right, try to give this marina a wide berth. All right, that way you don't have to get really entangled with any of that stuff. You don't have to worry about where those little sailboats are going. All right, on the Pennsylvania side, this Quaker City. It's Quaker City. Yep, Quaker City. These guys are cool. These guys are nice. Don't touch their mooring balls. Um, they're cool. They have a really nice bar in there. Come over, hang out. Call before you show up. Just don't show up and tie up to their dock. Maybe give a call. Yeah, they also have a ramp over here. This is the Tacony boat ramp. It's a free ramp on the Pennsylvania side. You don't need a permit or anything like that. There is the Pennsylvania Fish and Wildlife. They have a program when you get your boater's license and you buy a boat that you get an annual permit. It's like a New Jersey registration that is like you pay this fee and you get access to all of the boat ramps in the state. So it's not like there's a fee per ramp. It's like this entire it covers the entire state. All right, we're gonna go south again. Just sliding south here. First marina we're gonna come to right here on the Pennsylvania side, and that is the Neshaminy Yacht Club. Um, Another marina that again they're cool, but don't touch their mooring balls. They tend to be really finicky about their mooring balls. I have not been in their clubhouse. I hear they have a cool clubhouse. I've not been in there. Um, Call before you show up. This might be one of those. Make sure you have a member accompanying you when you show up to their hall.
7:45.
45. All right, thanks. Almost to our cutoff. Going south. One thing I don't think I mentioned at all yet is the trash line. I'm sure everybody has found the trash line on the water. All right. I'm gonna use brown here. Trash line. Okay. Make sure you pay attention to where. Oh, I guess it kind of goes like this. All right, make sure you pay attention to where that trash line is when you're driving your boat, especially around these turns. You don't want to be when you're crossing that trash line, that's when you're going to find those big logs and hidden stuff. Just be careful when you're crossing that trash line on the river. Okay, on
Also,
the
don't go under,
Pennsylvania's, I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Also, don't go underneath the Tacony Palmyra Bridge at full speed. It's not a wide enough span. And it's also a state police ticket haven.
That's fair. That is fair. So in New Jersey, there is this rule that a 400-foot rule that unless the bridge is greater than 400 foot, it is considered a slow no wake zone. And the only bridges that applies to is the Ben Franklin and South. Okay, so right here we have a ramp, which is actually pretty difficult to get to, supposedly. This is the Frankford boat ramp. There is three or four free boat ramps in Philadelphia. This is the third. This supposedly is difficult to find, mainly because it is behind all of this industrial and commercial real estate. So when you turn off of, it doesn't pop up
Bridge,
with the street names.
probably Bridge Street.
Yeah, when you turn off of Bridge Street, it feels like you're pulling into like this industrial complex. So you get confused and turn around, but when in fact you're going to the boat ramp. All right, going south. All right, so over here on the starboard side, just before the Betsy Ross Bridge, we have another boat club. I will get a link and send it to everybody that's on the call. Good people. They have a really nice clubhouse. They do rent it out for occasions. Again, call before you show up. Don't just tie up to their dock because it might be rented out to something. Okay. South. And this is the Betsy Ross Bridge. The only thing I want to highlight here is that there is a boat ramp directly underneath the train section of the bridge. That is the Pennsauken boat ramp that is free for use on the New Jersey side. Just being mindful of the current, it can really rip right there. There is also, since it's again not greater than 400 foot, lots and lots and lots of tends to be police boats here just waiting for people to blow through in the wake zone. And people with this tide here, sometimes they get hung up on this commercial dock. You can see it right here. Since it's a free ramp, sometimes people put boats in there that don't necessarily work, or they're trying it first time to see if it works for the season, and it gets hung up, doesn't start, and it gets drugged right into this dock. So that's just being mindful of that when you go. I think that's for the most part everything that we had for tonight. There really is no dock and dine locations on this stretch of water unless Dredge Harbor gets their dock and dine shack or breakfast nook running. Looks like we've dropped a couple people, lost a couple people. And yeah, any questions? Lisa, did you have anything?
Hey, Cap, it's Joe.
Hey, Joe.
No, I don't have anything. That was great. Thanks again. Hope to see you on, or hope to be back on Wednesday.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Bring friends. Apparently, people are coming. I don't know why, but
Yeah, I'm gonna
bring
try.
friends.
I will do that. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.